we're gonna try something really hard today. We're gonna attempt to predict the final roster in the Demon Slayer game when we don't even know how many characters the final game will have. To pull this prediction off, we're gonna have to base it off the one thing that we actually know: story mode. The story mode of Demon Slayer will retell the events of season 1. So with that, I've just finished rewatching all 26 episodes. While rewatching the whole thing, I was like, okay, what is necessary to retell this story? How many characters do they need to include to retell the entire season 1? My answer is the roster will at least be 12 characters. That's the bare minimum they need, and at most 25 characters. Though 25 is kind of pushing it already. Like, we're talking about some obscure demons that are included. Like, we definitely don't need those. That said, we do have to settle on a number before we start predicting characters, and I'm gonna settle on the lower side of things because I like to keep my expectations short. And also because the game is coming out later this year. They don't have a ton of time, so they'll probably end up with a 15 character roster. It's a bit low for me given characters don't play that differently from each other, but we might see some exceptions, especially in the way demons play. And the best way to tell you guys which characters will make it in this prediction is to recap the entire season 1 of Demon Slayer. So spoiler alert, we're gonna talk about the entire first season of Demon Slayer. This video is brought to you by Antlion Audio. Antlion sent me this wireless microphone that just blew my mind, and I'm about to blow yours as well. The idea here is that the mod mic attaches itself to pretty much any flat surface, so you can turn your headphones into a high quality headset. These right here are the Arctis Pro wireless headphones. You've probably seen me use them in a bunch of different videos. I love the way they sound, but did you know that they are also a headset? This is a $400 headset, which is way too much, so why haven't you seen me use this microphone yet? Because this is what the microphone sounds like. Does this sound like $400 to you? I don't think so. So we're getting rid of that. That's right. It just attaches itself with magnets. Super easy to attach, and on top of that, this is what the microphone sounds like raw. We haven't done any post-processing to it. I've never heard a microphone this small sound this good. It's not coming from this one. Goodbye. See? This is the mic. It's unbelievable. And if you're worried that magnets aren't going to work on your headphones, it comes with a variety of accessories, so it can pretty much attach to any pair of headphones. So whether you use your microphone on your PC to talk to your friends on Discord or on PlayStation 4 or 5, upgrade your audio now. Follow the link down below and get incredible audio quality with a mod mic, the world's first ever attachable microphones. Thank you, Antlion, for sponsoring this video. Now, for as much as I love this mic, this was way too expensive not to use. So back to our usual setup. Episode 1. Tanjiro finds his family slaughtered with the exception of Nezuko, who is badly wounded. Rushing down the mountain in an attempt to save her, Nezuko turns into a demon. That's when Gyu shows up and tries to slay her. Moved by Tanjiro's actions and the bond displayed between them, he decides to spare Nezuko and sends Tanjiro on his way to his former mentor. Right on the first episode, we have Tanjiro, Nezuko, and Gyu. All three of them are already confirmed to be playable characters. We've seen gameplay from all three of them, so these are locks on our list. Episodes 2 and 3. On his way to find Gyu's mentor, Tanjiro runs into his first demon in the wild, the Temple Demon. While this fight is awesome, this moment is not necessary to retell the Demon Slayer story, and the Temple Demon could easily be replaced by a generic demon fight. In fact, I think a lot of the minor demons that show up in the story, you will see their designs in-game, but they will just have a generic moveset. This will be more obvious once we get to the final selection exam. So, I think they will make the Temple Demon's model, but they won't build an entire moveset, so he ends up being a story mode only character, not a selectable playable character. While defeating the demon, this is when they meet Urokodaki, who finds Tanjiro's resolve lacking and starts training him, culminating in the ultimate test, to slash this huge boulder. Tanjiro can't do it at first, and that's when two of Urokodaki's former students come to his aid, Sabito and Makomo. Makomo is genuinely trying to help Tanjiro, while Sabito is focused on testing his skills every day after training. Alright, so first we have the master, Urokodaki. He's a former Hashira, probably uses water breathing as well, but we've never seen him fight. Makomo also doesn't have any battle moments, which makes it really hard to make a character out of her. Sabito, on the other hand, he displays skill, high speed, and an interesting moveset that could definitely make it into Demon Slayer. And we know that the boulder will actually be a stage in the upcoming game. Like, it's the only stage that we know for sure is in the game. So what other battle could take place in there? We'll see Tanjiro versus Sabito, making Sabito a playable character. Episodes 4 and 5, the final selection exam. We actually have a screenshot of Tanjiro fighting two demons that barely had any action in the show. So this is what I mean when I say these demons will have a generic moveset that will be reused by other demon designs throughout the story, including the temple demon we just talked about. They won't be playable, they won't be selectable in the roster, but they will be in story mode. The hand demon is also going to be in the game, though it may be more of a boss fight moment rather than a playable character. Like in Storm 4, you fight against the Ten Tails and you use Gamabunta to slash through armies, but those aren't really playable characters. You can't select them and go into versus. That's how I think the hand demon will be treated. Story mode only boss fight. And by the time the exam ends, for the first time we meet Tomoe, Genya, and Zenitsu. But so far they're not doing much, so we're not gonna add them to the roster yet. Episodes 6 and 7. These episodes are almost like a side story without any real plot development, but they are Tanjiro's first real mission after becoming a demon slayer. So while these episodes could theoretically be skipped for not developing the plot much, I think them being the first Tanjiro mission makes them essential. And for that reason, the Swamp Demon will be a playable character. It's technically 3 characters in one. My guess is you'll control one of them mainly, but then his attacks and specials can summon his buddies from the ground. Should be an interesting character to play as. Episodes 8 through 10. These are some big episodes. First, we have Tanjiro's encounter with the final boss, Kibutsuji Muzan. Now, typically, I would say it's too soon to include him as a playable character, except CyberConnect loves that stuff. They'll often include characters you don't know much about without them having a complete moveset, but making them completely broken at the same time. Kinda like they included Itachi before knowing what his full power was, or the 4th Hokage before knowing much about him at all. He didn't even have a voice for most of those Ultimate Ninja games. So yeah, I do think Muzan will be a playable character. We won't see his full abilities, he'll be sort of chilling, you know, not really trying hard at all, but somehow still be broken. From that encounter, Tanjiro starts being chased by demons, and that's when Tamayo and Yushiro come to his rescue. Yushiro would make for a wonderful playable character, thanks to his ability to turn invisible, and he also seems decent at hand-to-hand combat. Lady Tamayo, on the other hand, isn't much of a fighter, but I think she could still show up during Yushiro's ultimate attack, since Yushiro's main character trait is his devotion to Lady Tamayo. Maybe Yushiro could even have a healing gimmick, since Tamayo is part of his moveset. So, Yushiro will be our next playable character. And the demons they're fighting against also work better as a duo, in my opinion. Susamaru is a ranged archetype with the ability to throw these balls, and I think she'd be a playable character, but her moveset is so much more interesting when she's cooperating with Yahaba, the arrow demon who can change the direction of her attacks. It is fully possible that these two will be 2 separate playable characters, but I'm gonna predict they're just one. Our next playable character is Susamaru, with Yahaba helping her out, sitting atop a nearby tree. Episodes 11 through 14. Leaving Lady Tamayo's place and with a new mission to draw blood from high-level demons, Tanjiro quickly runs into Zenitsu. Not long after that, they encounter the Drum House. Inside the Drum House, we also find Inosuke for the very first time. These 2 characters are already confirmed, so we're gonna go ahead and add them to our list. And that concludes all the announced characters so far. From here on out, it is full-on prediction. While inside the house, we have 3 main fights. Zenitsu versus the Tongue Demon, Inosuke versus the Horn Demon, and Tanjiro versus Kyogai, the former lower 6 Kizuki, the demon with the drums. Needless to say, Kyogai is required to tell this part of the story, and I believe he'll be more than a boss fight. Kyogai will be our next playable character. Now, regarding the other 2 demons, I think they'll make an appearance similar to how those nameless demons in the final selection exam are also making an appearance, but I don't think they'll have a complete moveset, not enough for them to be actually playable. But hey, these episodes just gave us 3 new playable characters. That's cool. Wait till you see the next ones. Episodes 15 through 21, the Natacomo Mountain Arc. This is where we meet the lovely family of spider demons. Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu venture into this forest mountain, and their first opponents are other demon slayers who are being manipulated by the spider mother. I think this moment will be represented in story mode. You'll be fighting against generic demon slayers, you know, but mother herself doesn't really do that much, so I don't think she'll be playable. Zenitsu, separated from the rest of the group, runs into the spider's son, who injects him with poison. This is a pivotal moment for Zenitsu, and this fight needs to be in the game. I mean, Zenitsu's ultimate in-game comes from this exact fight. However, given the son's unorthodox fighting style, the use of his minions, and his very weird shape, I don't think the character will be playable. Similar to the Hand Demon, I believe this will be a story mode only boss fight. You know who could be playable though? The Spider Father. Tanjiro and Inosuke struggle to fight against him. At some point, Inosuke goes up against him solo, and this is when Father even transforms into an even stronger form. His humanoid form totally makes him viable as as a playable character, even if he is kind of a monster when it comes to his size. Still, we're gonna add him to our roster prediction. Tanjiro is blown away from this fight and reaches where Rui is talking to the spider daughter. This fight is the pinnacle of this arc. Tanjiro versus Rui, the lower 5 of the 12 Kizuki, which means this demon will also be a playable character. Out of everyone we've predicted so far, this is the character I feel the strongest about. There is no way he doesn't make it as a playable character. Probably the best moment of this fight is Tanjiro using his father's fire breathing technique, which made me consider for a moment that a second Tanjiro could be a playable character. You know, like a Tanjiro Super Saiyan, in this case Tanjiro fire breathing. I don't really think that will happen though. This ultimate needs to be in the game somehow because it is a pinnacle of the entire season, but really all Tanjiro does with fire breathing is this move. So I highly doubt we'll have a whole character dedicated to it. The fire breathing ultimate could be his level 3 super or maybe his super while he's awakened, but not a separate character altogether. Even with this move, Tanjiro is unable to finish off Rui. Luckily, the Hashira have arrived. Gyu quickly disposes of the Spider Father and then finishes off Ryu with the ultimate that he has in-game. Another Hashira, Shinobu, comes to Zenitsu's rescue and then fights against the Spider Daughter, who could technically be playable, but I don't think it's gonna happen. A lot of the Spider family backstory is told through the Spider Daughter's perspective, and she does fight for a bit, perhaps enough to make a moveset out of her, revolving around creating these cocoons where she dissolves her enemies. But the main reason why I would make the Spider Daughter playable in our roster prediction is because Shinobu would need someone to fight against. And this is actually her first fight in the show. That said, Shinobu is for sure going to be a playable character. Let's just go ahead and add her right now. She's the only Hashira who doesn't decapitate her opponents. She uses a unique style of combat by relying on poison, and even her sword is shaped differently. But she does not need to fight against the Spider Daughter because later she fights against Gyu. And this fight where Gyu is protecting Nezuko will probably be in the game somehow, and that will be enough to justify Shinobu as a playable character. Final episodes 22 through 26. The final arc is focused on the recovery and training of Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu, overseen by the final selection survivor, Tsuyuri Kanao. We don't know much about Kanao's fighting style other than she's fast and she's strong. She fights a little bit during the Natacomo Mountain Arc as well while chasing after Nezuko, but then shows even more of her strength while training Tanjiro, which will make Kanao the last character we're adding to our roster. And the final arc in story mode will probably be represented somehow with a Tanjiro versus Kanao fight in that beautiful house that I can't wait to see with in-game graphics turned into an actual stage. Now, I can already hear you guys going, wait a minute, what about the other Hashira? What about the other lower ranked demons we see in the last episode? Well, those demons, they just exist to die. Except for the lower one demon, who probably has a bigger role during the Infinite Train movie, at least according to the trailer. I haven't been able to watch it yet because, well, the movie isn't available anywhere outside of Japan and the United States. But since the story mode only covers season 1, I'm assuming that's not really gonna make it in. And regarding the other Hashira, same thing really. Some of them were a bit active during one episode, namely Shinazugawa and Iguro, but not enough to be playable in my opinion. The one Hashira that could make it is Kyojuro Rengoku, but again, he should have a bigger role in the movie, at least according to the trailer. He didn't really fight during season 1, so regarding those two specifically, the Fire Hashira and the lower one demon, DLC. That's my guess. The movie stuff will be DLC. Not the story necessarily, but characters from the movie. And this game really needs to come out fast, because if it's only covering the first season, the second season will start later this year. So by the time this game comes out, it may already feel outdated, because we're gonna see new characters, we're gonna see new stuff to fall in love with, and none of that will be in this game. But this 15 character roster is my final prediction for the Demon Slayer game. We've got 9 characters on the good guys side, 2 of which are demons, and then we have 6 characters on the bad guys side, all of which are demons. Hope you guys enjoyed this recap for season 1 of Demon Slayer. I sure as hell enjoyed watching it again, but let me know if there's any character in this prediction that you don't think will make it, and if there's any character that I skipped that you actually think will be in the game. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget about today's sponsor, Antlion Audio. Upgrade your voice quality today with a mod mic, the world's first ever attachable microphones, linked down below. And as always, thank you very much for watching. My name is Globku, and I'll see you next time. Bye!